Was there a connection between the Nazi war machine and something out of this world?
The word disc-shaped craft developed in the Third Reich. You know, the Nazis were also developing the nuclear bomb.
There's this German compass from the 1940s, and it could have coded clues to a UFO connection.
This is a navigational compass for one of those ships.
What seems probable is that the Germans were racing to develop a kind of wonder weapon.
The Nazis wanted to build the so-called Wunderwaffe to change the war.
We found out they launched a rocket into space. Maybe just a range test, or maybe an attempt at communication.
We've uncovered a never-before-seen secret location that can possibly explain the mystery between the Nazis and UFOs.
It was something unconventional, some kind of a spacecraft.
This is case number 19104, Nazi UFOs.
Well, the two greatest stories of the 20th century are the evil of the Nazis and the appearance of UFOs. Each was earth-changing in its own way.
Well, it can't just be a coincidence that right after this highly technological Nazi regime fell, the United States experienced one of its largest UFO waves, right? I mean, there could be some kind of link.
I know they had very advanced technology, probably 25 years ahead of the rest of the world, but this is all conventional technology. It's not UFO technology.
The fact is, all the scientists that did that went straight to New Mexico, where we were launching the rockets, and then they became the basis of NASA. And one of the key scientists, the big one, Herman Oberth, said, "We were helped by people from other worlds." Who's the we? I say it's the Nazis. We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we're about to meet with U.S. Air Force veteran Bill Line, who's in possession of a mysterious German compass, an advanced piece of technology that might be the connection between the Nazis and UFOs. The serial number on this compass was traced all the way back to Nazi Germany, where it was fabricated in 1943.
This compass is technically called a Peiltochter compass. This thing will only work in 30-degree increments, so it's not on a regular airplane. This works off of a master compass, a gyro. If you point this towards the North Star, then no matter where you fly on the Earth, the master compass will continue to keep its heading.
Bill's compass is dependent on a master compass. The system works like this. The master compass zeroes in on the North Star. Each time the craft changes headings, it activates a motor in the master compass, which in turn sends an electric signal to the Peiltochter compass. That signal changes the headings on the Peiltochter compass to show the pilot or navigator the precise location of the craft. It sounds complicated, but it's necessary when a craft can't rely on Earth's magnetic field for guidance.
Bill, where'd you find this thing?
I found this at a salvage yard here in Albuquerque. It was classified salvage.
After World War II, the military labs and proving grounds here in New Mexico generated both unclassified salvage, scrap metal which could be sold back to the public, and classified salvage, which had to be destroyed by the military itself. Bill Line says the compass somehow escaped destruction and mysteriously wound up in a scrapyard thanks to an employee.
He was under security clearance. His job was to bring salvage to the salvage companies. But he was taking stuff and on the side doing a little double set of books.
There are two compelling aspects to the story for me. First, we have a classified piece of salvage that should have never wound up in a scrapyard in the first place. And second, it winds up in the hands of an Air Force veteran who says he knows what it was used for.
I actually recognized it because when I was a boy, I saw UFOs coming from New Mexico across the West Texas border, and they were turning in 30-degree increments. The ship I saw in 1953, this was like two walks stuck together, and it was about 50 feet in diameter, very bright, shiny metal. And on the top, there was this electrical discharge that was producing fantastic colors. There was a trail of ions behind it that sparkled and glittered and gradually faded out as this thing took off. And then it shot to a point of infinity in 3 seconds.
Do you think what you saw was extraterrestrial in origin, or do you think it was man-made?
I automatically said it's just an aircraft. It's a machine. I've never seen a machine made by anyone but human beings. And this is where all the research was taking place after World War II. This is where they brought all the German scientists. Any ship that could go that fast, you would have to have something to know where the heck you were. And when I saw the face of this device, I could see that it was divided up into 30-degree increments. I said, wow, you know, this is a navigational compass for one of those ships.
Suddenly, a device turns up. It turns up in a salvage yard, a mysterious compass that doesn't work like a magnetic compass. Where was it built? Built in Germany. And there's some kind of a connection. It tells me we have to go to Germany, go to the source, and find out where this originated and why. If you've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, then you're familiar with Nazi Germans running all over the world looking for artifacts and relics from which they could summon a spiritual power. And we have the records. There's no doubt that they did that. And there was one organization that began at the beginning of the 20th century that the Germans were fascinated with. It was the Vril Society, a kind of a mystical organization that claimed that it could channel the beginnings of the Aryan race, not from someplace here on Earth, but from extraterrestrials.
The German Vril Society is a society interested in what the Vril is. Vril is a notion of a superpower going beyond atomic power, something that has the ability to do all kinds of fantastic things, including those attributed to UFOs. At the end of World War I, where Germany was in abject defeat, it was of interest to German militarists as a possible source of power. The mediums in the Vril Society were saying that this force could be used to power craft.
There were mediums that were doing exactly what?
Okay, generally speaking, mediumship is thought of in terms of communication with the dead. There's another group of mediums who channel material that is related to extraterrestrial or ultra-terrestrial beings, and it claims that it comes from the science of these beings, and that if we adapt that science, we will learn a great deal about higher technology than we have. Of course, the Nazis, being interested in power, quickly bought into that, and the more desperate the war became, the more they wanted to do aircraft in tune with these mediums who were transmitting this material. They seemed to grasp the shape of these things, which was saucer-shaped or cigar-shaped, just as UFOs that are seen today, but they could never get the idea of the power that was involved in these things, because apparently, even though they used the name Vril Society, they never understood what the Vril actually is.
The Vril is a kind of a life force, the Force, even from Star Wars.